All right, hello, how's everybody doing? I'm Jeremy Langlois, coming to you live from Houmas House Estate and Gardens in our old historic kitchen. Some of the wood here dating back to 1773, one of my favorite places to cook on all the property and probably one of my most favorite spots here on all the property. And we are here, it's the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and thank you so much everybody who's watching this video, who joins in, and the people who continue to support us. We love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And if you love what we do here and you love our cooking demos, do me a favor, hit that little share button right there on your app. It does such a great job of getting this video out to everybody, and everyone who does that, I just want you to know we have so much fun doing it, and I appreciate it so much that you do as well. So as I was saying, it's the Thursday before Thanksgiving, so just a little bit of housekeeping. We do these demos every Thursday, so we will not do one next Thursday. Hopefully you all, even though this crazy year we're having, hopefully everyone there is able to connect with their family and loved ones and able to enjoy their Thanksgiving day. If you haven't had plans, I'll be here at Houmas House cooking Thanksgiving. We're open. You can go to our website or check our Facebook page. We have plenty of information about what we're doing here on Thanksgiving. Would love to have you if that is something that would interest you. But what I wanted to do today as far as our cooking is, I want to approach it from a couple different angles. Everybody here is going to be cooking turkey and everybody's going to be roasting turkeys, but I want to pose a question to you. What if you didn't need it, and there's thousands of recipes for that? What if you didn't want to cook a whole turkey? What if you weren't maybe having as large as of a gathering to justify roasting a whole turkey? I wanted to show an alternative that you can do, and that's we're going to roast a whole turkey breast. Something that's smaller and not as big as roasting a whole turkey. And then also, one thing, if you've watched a couple of my videos and my little trailer, I tease about that cranberry sauce that everybody buys that comes in the can. You open it up and the whole thing slides, and it still even has the ridges from the can. And I talk about how nasty it is, but actually I say that kind of jokingly because, hey, like pretty much everybody I know, I grew up eating that, so still to this day I still enjoy it. But I want to show a better alternative that we can do. Like everything in life, cooking is about ingredients, and better ingredients is going to be better food. Just like there's nothing wrong with canned tuna, but a fresh tuna steak is always going to be better. Well, we're going to make a fresh cranberry sauce. So let's go ahead and start that first, and then we'll talk about the turkey breast, and then we'll try to even knock out a side while we're at it as well for Thanksgiving. So I already got a little bit of this heating up, but for the cranberry sauce, this recipe is so simple, yet so fantastic, and I encourage everybody at home to try it just because it is so easy, and it's going to be so much better than that jarred or that canned cranberry sauce that a lot of people tend to buy. I want to know, this is a Merlot and cranberry sauce, so I'm starting off with some Merlot. I already have about a cup in here. I'm going to add a little bit more, and this red wine here is going to be the base and a perfect pairing for this cranberry sauce. Now, all I did was I go to the store. I encourage you to do the same. You can buy a package of cranberries, fresh cranberries. This is a package of cranberries I picked up at our local grocery. You can find them everywhere right now. We'll get to this in a second. But if you were to just open this up and pop one of them cranberries in your mouth, fresh cranberries are tart, tart, tart. So what we have to do is counteract that. So we have our red wine in here. We're going to start by adding some sugar. That's a cup of white sugar. And then I have a cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to mix that in with this wine, let it come up to a boil and dissolve in here. And as that sugar and wine starts to cook, it's going to start to reduce and it's going to get real syrupy. And that's exactly what we are looking for. So I'm cranking it up to high and letting it start to come up and do its own thing. As that starts to come up, a reminder to everybody out there, at any point you have any questions, we love chatting with you out there. So Jesse's behind the camera. Give us a comment. We'll try to answer it on air. Or if you're watching this after we've gone live, feel free to leave a comment as well. We love it, and I'll be happy to answer it on Facebook or online. We're happy to do that. So what we want to do, we got our red wine, we got our sugar. That's our white sugar, brown sugar. That's going to start to come up to a boil. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open up these cranberries. I'm going to dump them in. Now, these are only going to need to cook for about 6 minutes or so. And one thing that I always like about this, and I don't know if they'll be picked up on our microphone over here, but you'll know the cranberries are cooking because they'll actually start to pop. So every now and then we'll get some little popping noise here, and we're looking for that. We want to hear that popping sound. That means it's doing its thing and they're cooking. Just like just like Rice Krispie cereal, we're going to get some snack, crackle, and pop in here. And that's exactly what we're looking for. The cranberries themselves are going to start to split open, and they cook down rather quickly. So we're just going to let that go. Again, just a quick recap if you're just joining in. We started off with some Merlot wine. Now, if you don't have Merlot, any red wine will be fantastic. But I find this Merlot with the sugar and the cranberries, all blends together perfectly. So we have that in there. We put some brown sugar, some white sugar, let that come up to a boil. And now we've had our cranberries, and we're going to let them start to just stew in this pot. Now, onto the turkey breast. I have a sheet pan here. I have the turkey breast actually wrapped in a little towel. So let's take a look at it. The reason I have this, I'll get to that in a second, but look. So again, we're not roasting a whole turkey. We're just wanting to focus on the turkey breast. And of course, this is for Thanksgiving, but hey, let's think out there. If you just enjoy turkey like I do, and you don't want to just cook it on a holiday, this is just a great thing you could do for a family or a gathering. If you wanted to incorporate turkey, just go and buy the turkey breast. It'll be fantastic. I don't know if you heard that. They're starting to crackle. They're starting to pop over here. Now, the reason I had it wrapped in a towel is what I want you to do, either a paper towel or any towel. Before we even get started, I want you to take that turkey breast. I want you to pat it as dry as you can. The reason for that is we're actually going to add this butter to it, and we're going to baste it just like you would baste a turkey. But by removing any of that excess water or moisture on the outside, it's going to allow it to roast beautifully, and then it's going to allow the skin on the top. It's a boneless turkey breast, but it does have the skin, which you want, which has great flavor. It's going to allow the skin to kind of render and get real crispy, and that's what we're looking for. But let me tell you how we're going to prepare it. It's very simple. Look in here. This is starting to just come up to a boil, and it's just cooking away. That's exactly what we're looking for. So I pulled some butter out, just a pound of butter. I pulled that out, and I started to let it soften. So you can see it's softened here. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to put it in the bowl, and it's so soft. You could throw this in the mixer. If you had a paddle mixer, that would be fantastic, but you don't even necessarily need that. Instead of seasoning the turkey directly, we're going to make the seasoned butter coat the turkey, and then we're going to roast it and then use this as a baste as well. And that's going to just be awesome. So we have our softened butter. We're going to just start by putting some seasoning in. Generous amount. I want see what I'm doing here. Generous amount of salt, because this is a large piece of protein here, and we want to have plenty of seasoning on it. Generous amount of black pepper. Several turns of this. We got that in there. Now, just slide this aside to make some room. Herbs. We want to add some fresh herbs. What herbs go fantastic with turkey? Well, one thing that's just common you're always going to see is sage. So again, these are all things I bought from the grocery store. Sage, but other herbs I like as well as rosemary and thyme. And oddly enough, when I just happened to go to my local grocery to buy some of the ingredients for this cooking demo, they had this fantastic pack here. I just wanted to show you that it literally has the 3 herbs I'm looking for. We got some rosemary, or as my kids like to say, little Christmas trees. We got some fresh thyme, and we got the sage. So now what we want to do is we just want to kind of chop some of those up. So look, I always like to keep things simple. We could do them separate, but I don't like to chop my herbs too rigorously, and I'll tell you why. But one thing I like to do with all my herbs is oftentimes we just want the herb part, and the stem oftentimes is very fibrous, and so we don't want that. So we're just going to pick off the leaves and take it off. In particular, rosemary, you really have to chop well, because there's nothing worse sometimes whenever you're eating something that has rosemary and you bite into it and it's almost like you're biting into something wooden. Rosemary is a very hardy herb, so you really kind of have to chop that up. So we want to remove as much from the stem as possible. And then thyme as well. Thyme, the stem itself can be very woody, but the herb itself is very simple just to take off. So we're going to take off that thyme. And now let me show you what we're going to do. I'm actually going to just move this to the side. So I have my fresh herbs here. Again, we have rosemary, we have thyme, and we have sage. And I'm just going to very quickly with a knife start to chop these up. I'm not looking to chop these a lot, because oftentimes as I start to chop it, I like to tell some of my chefs that if after you chop your herbs, if your cutting board right here is green, well, guess what's on your cutting board right here? That's a lot of flavor, and we don't want to lose that. As you cut herbs, you're breaking down the cell walls in the herbs, and they actually will start to leak out flavor, and then the flavor of those herbs and some of those oils will leak out in your cutting board, and we want to keep as much flavor as possible. So we want to keep it all in here so you don't chop them too much. Again, I have butter, salt, and pepper. Now, because this butter is softened, I can just take this rubber spatula, and I'm just looking to mix this up. We're making a very simple herb butter. Now that we got that all mixed up, let's move over to our cranberries. So after this is cooked, to finish this off, they've cooked for about 6 minutes or so, and they've started to cook down. To finish it off, I'm just going to grate a little bit of orange zest into it. And that's going to add a little bit of flavor. I like to add it right at the end, and that's just going to finish this off. And now this is done. I have a bowl here, and I'm just going to carefully, because this is hot, I'm going to carefully pour it. And you'll notice you'll still have lots of those great chunks. But go ahead and taste this at this point. If you like your cranberry sauce, because them cranberries are tart, you want to taste it at this point, you might decide you want to add a little more sugar to it. So I'm going to put that right here, get rid of this pot. And we would stick this in the refrigerator. It could be made several days before, and it will be done. You don't have to worry about it. Back to our turkey breast. Now that we have this, again, instead of seasoning the turkey breast directly, what we're going to do is rub some of this seasoned butter all throughout it. Now, if you wanted to be real careful, you can actually lift up this skin, get under the skin, then come back on top of the skin. We're going to eat both sides, so we're going to season both sides. Question, do we season both sides? Always. If you eat both sides, you season both sides. And we're just rubbing in this butter all over. And now we are ready. Once we have this kind of thoroughly rubbed in, we're ready to transfer it to the oven. You want to have a nice, good coating. However, you don't want to have so much on it that it starts to, because once you put this in the oven, that butter is going to melt, and it's going to go onto the bottom of the pan, and you don't want to have so much where you just have this river of butter coming off of it. But we do want to put that down and have it nice and coated all over. So at this point, guys, we would take this turkey breast, we would put it in a 350-degree oven for about 90 minutes. At that point, what you want to do, a good tip is you can get one of these meat thermometers. We're looking to get an internal temperature. After about 90 minutes, you can poke this into your turkey breast. We're looking to get a temperature reading of 160 degrees, 155, 160 degrees. And at that point, you're ready to pull the turkey breast out, and that's what we have right here. So after it's finished, I didn't use all the butter because once the turkey breast comes out of the oven, anytime you cook a large piece of meat, you want it to rest for a few minutes before you slice it. So what we're going to do while it's resting is we're going to come back with a little bit more of that butter, and this is going to be nice and hot while it's resting, and we're just going to, again, you always want to baste your turkey breast, keep it from drying out. We're going to give another little pat of that on here, and let's go ahead and take this off of the cutting board and just let it sit on the cutting board waiting to be sliced. Now what I want to do to finish off, we got our cranberry sauce cooking, or it's cooked, it's in the refrigerator, it's done. We just roasted our turkey breast. What about a quick side? Well, of course, there's tons of sides out there. Some of my favorites, I make a tasso cornbread dressing that is just killer. We'll be serving that here. But green beans is a common side, oftentimes green bean casserole. But one variation that I like to do is green bean almondine because it's just so simple. Let me tell you how we're going to put that together real quick. I got a hot pan, generous amount of olive oil in it. You could use butter. And I have some sliced almonds that are going to go in. And we're going to go in with the almonds first. And already we're starting to get a little sizzle. And the almonds are going to start to toast right here in the bottom of this pan. You only want them to toast for just a minute or two because you do have to be, this is the one part you have to be careful. You want to be real careful because almonds and any nuts, anytime you bake them in the oven or toast them in a pan, they burn very quickly. So they only take a couple of seconds for them to start getting that beautiful nutty flavor and start to toast. At that point, all we're going to do, add a little bit of chopped red onions, a little bit of garlic, and we're just going to quickly saute that. It's already smelling fantastic already. This only takes a second to cook. At this point, I have some blanched green beans right here that I'm going to go right into. Now, these blanched, when I say blanched, that just means we took some trimmed green beans and started to boil them and just kind of par cooked them. Took them out of the water. You can go directly out of the water and then right onto here. To finish off this, we're just looking now because the green beans themselves are already cooked. We're just going to add some seasoning. Lemon juice right there. Squeeze of 1 lemon. A little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Look how easy it is to make that green bean almondine. And to me, this is a perfect side to go with turkey. Just fantastic. So let's go ahead now and bring it all together. Just cook these long enough to get those green beans because they're already cooked. Just heat them up and get them nice and coated with those wonderful toasted almonds. We'll go right onto the plate. Lots of this green beans. Our turkey breast has been resting here the whole time. Look how nice this looks, y'all. So I'm just going to give it some slices. A couple slices of that turkey right here. Get that on there. And now here's the cranberry sauce we made, but you want to refrigerate that because of all that sugar and the wine, it will actually kind of solidify and kind of become very kind of syrupy without having to get that stuff out of a can. And you still have all those nice, beautiful cranberries in it. So let's get some of these cranberries right on top of here. And there you go. This is a great alternative or a great way of thinking differently about preparing Thanksgiving. If you only want to just do a turkey breast, that is a really great alternative. And again, you don't even have to do this for Thanksgiving. You can do this anytime. And there you have it, y'all. A couple things as we finish up. Again, a reminder, we are open on Thanksgiving Day here. We're doing our holiday buffet. But also in addition to that, if you're looking for a Thanksgiving feast starting the Sunday before and through and after Thanksgiving in our Carriage House restaurant, we're doing a Thanksgiving menu the whole week. Go online, either on our Facebook page or houmashouse.com website. Also there, you can find all the recipes that we do. I wish everyone out there a great Thanksgiving. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, we won't be here next week, but we'll see you the following week. See y'all then, guys. Thank you.